What's going on, my friends? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you guys are doing so well today. So I am a fragrance influencer, and I say that very carefully because I know that some people are just annoyed or think it's very audacious for somebody to call themselves an influencer. But luckily, my viewers have bestowed that title to me, and I am super honored. But here's the thing. I try to think about what the proper qualities of an influencer are, and it doesn't matter if it's fragrance influencing, style influencing, whatever it is. But the biggest thing is to not be a salesman. Proper influencers are telling people about what they are doing in their lives and how these things that they are talking about are bettering their lives. And that's what I'm trying to make sure that I get through to you guys, is these things that I talk about, these fragrances, what are they doing for me? How are they bettering and improving my quality of life? And sometimes I gotta admit, sometimes I get into the salesman aspect of it, saying, hey, go buy this. You guys should put this in your collection. So today, I want to take a little bit of a different approach to this video. I'm going to talk about 7 fragrances in the way that a proper influencer should be talking about them. I'm going to tell you about how they make me feel when I wear them, what they do for me, how I sort of carry myself when I wear them, the whole 9 yards, so that you guys can make the decision for yourselves if these are things that you want to put in your collection based on how they make me feel. I hope that makes sense, but we're going to try it out, so let's go. So guys, I'm going to try to actually shoot this video in one continuous shot in the interest of being as authentic as possible and not trying to think about what I say and redo it when I don't like it, all of that stuff. Because after all, that's what influencing is all about, is authenticity over salesmanship. And so if I go off on some rabbit trails or get sidetracked a little bit, bear with me. I'm going to try not to ramble and stay on point as much as possible. Now, this first fragrance I've only had for about 3 months, and when it first came into my possession, I was incredibly stunned by it. And I've talked about it a lot on this channel, but I don't care. It is absolutely necessary to talk about as my #1 fragrance for a couple of reasons. It's from Parfums de Marly. It is Haltan or Haltane, however you want to pronounce it. And guys, this is an oud fragrance that is simply perfection, okay? Now, the big reason that this is on my #1 spot is because it was influenced onto me in the best way possible. My best friend, his name is Cap, and he runs an incredible YouTube channel called The Capable Gentleman, which you guys need to check out. I'm going to tag him in the description below. Go and give him a subscription. But he actually turned me on to this. I had smelled this back in the summertime of last year, and it was pretty good. I smelled it in the store, but it wasn't the best to me. But I didn't really appreciate it at the time, as I've been smelling quite a few other things. But right around November, December, I went over to his house for dinner, and he said, hey, Jesse, I got this brand new fragrance from Parfums de Marly. He said, I got Haltane, and I was like, oh, okay, but he said, you need to smell this. I've never smelled anything like it. And I got a good whiff of him, and I was blown away. And see, Cap he is everything that I want to be in terms of style. His style, the way he conducts himself as a gentleman, everything about him, it just speaks to me. And this just, in relation to everything that he was perfect. So this one right here was influenced onto me, and I want to do my best to influence it onto you, because now when I spray it on, I feel like a real gentleman. I feel like I'm carrying myself with some pride, with some confidence, and with a little bit of suave in my step, if that's what you want to call it. It's an oud-based fragrance. Like I said, it's got some saffron, it's got some oud and some other woody notes, as well as praline, giving it a sweet boost of energy. Very romantic, but very refined. It lasts about 7 to 8 hours on my skin, and I 100% love this. So now, I just started off on a rabbit trail a little bit, but Parfums de Marly Haltan, I'm telling you guys, Absolutely worth retail price, which is about $3.95 as we speak, but I would gladly pay it. I did pay it. This next fragrance, it's another romantic scent, but this one right here, it is what I deem, or I nickname Snuggle Juice. And that's because the first time I wore this around my wife, she could not get enough of this. It is Imperial Armani Stronger With You. This is the original. It's not the intensely or absolutely. It is simply the original. And now when I say my wife couldn't get enough of this, nothing, it's not a sexual undertone or anything like that. But literally, when I sprayed this on and she smelled it, she got next to me on the couch and we watched a movie, and she stayed close to me the whole time, and she loved smelling this. And now it just has that snuggly kind of, I've got my lifelong companion right here on my shoulder. It's got that kind of a vibe and feel to me, and that is absolutely what I think you guys would get as well. It is a very vanilla-based fragrance with some chestnut, which is kind of a nutty, woody type of undertone to it, but it is a loud projecting fragrance. It is it's quite long lasting as well, about 8-9 hours on my skin, and I'm telling you, a lot of people love this fragrance and use this as their signature scent, and I don't blame them. But Imperial Armani, if you like a sweet fragrance, if you like a romantic fragrance, you need to check this out, because that's what it has been to me. All right, now fragrance number 3. We're going to go with this one. It's not the most expensive one, but it is the fragrance that when I smelled it, it is what sold me on wanting to get more and more fragrances, because I didn't realize at the time that men could smell this way. It is from Azzaro. It is Wanted by Night, guys. I've talked about this one a few times before. It is my favorite from the Azzaro Wanted line. There are quite a few in this line now, from the Most Wanted Parfum, the OG. You've even got the Tonic, which sucks complete balls. But the Azzaro Wanted by Night, this is going to be a little more edgy and bad boy. Some of the spicier notes come from having some cinnamon in there, as well as a little bit of tobacco. But some of the other notes that give it a sweet and approachable feel is the mandarin orange and vanilla in here. And it's not the longest lasting. I get about 6 hours on my skin with this one, but up until I got this one, I was used to guys smelling like Davidoff Cool Water and Drakkar Noir and like Aqua Velva and Brute Aftershave. You know what I'm saying? It was just kind of that, everybody has that aftershave type of fragrance that they always wear. But when I smelled this one, I was immediately sold, and I knew that there was going to be more for me to experience in the world of fragrances. So if you want something that's approachable but a little bit edgy, I definitely recommend the Azzaro Wanted by Night. It's a little bit difficult to find now on discounters for some reason. The last couple of times I've made mention of this, I haven't been able to find it so easily. But keep on the lookout for it. You will not go wrong having that fragrance in your collection. Now, fragrance number 4. I actually bought this one yesterday. It is the newest fragrance in my collection, and I don't know why it took me so long to get it, as it is from Banana Republic. And if you guys have seen some of my videos, you know that I've got like 15 or 16 from Banana Republic. And I got this one, once again, at Marshall's, a popular rack store, and it was only $25. This is Banana Republic Pure White. I guess the technical term is 90 Pure White. But guys, this one right here screams a clean springtime fragrance. And it's got like some green sort of woody undertones, but they're not very pronounced. It smells a little bit like linen, but when you spray it on, it's got this wonderful burst of sweetness, like this citrusy vibrant feel to it that I absolutely love. For the warm weather. It was 85 degrees here yesterday in Florida, and as soon as I got in the car, I sprayed this on, and it immediately became one of my favorites from Banana Republic. I wore it yesterday afternoon, and I wore it again today, and I gotta tell you, I am not disappointed in the least. And it was only $25 at Marshall, so how bad could it be? But man, I freaking love Banana Republic scents, man. These are absolute bangers for the price, and they deserve a spot in anybody's collection. You're not going to waste a ton of money if you don't like it, but it is quality fragrance that lasted quite a bit. It did project, and my wife, she was in the car with me. She smelled it right after I sprayed it on, and she was in the passenger seat and went, "Whoa!" Got that kind of thing. She wasn't ready for how good this was. I thought this was just going to be something else that I added to the collection of Banana Republic, just because I like having that full collection. It's one of my things, but it was an eye opener for sure. So Banana Republic Pure White, check that one out. All right, number 5, I think. Yeah, this is number 5. So this is a fragrance that was actually sent to me as a gift from twistedlily.com about 3 months ago when I first started being an affiliate for them, and I had never heard of this house before, and so I got it in. I was automatically honored that they would send me a full bottle, but when I sprayed it on, I was pleasantly surprised at what I was getting. This is from the niche house of Wilgermain. This is called Inconfessible. I've talked about this one a couple times before, but Inconfessible, man, this is a peppery ginger and woody fragrance. Those are the 3 main notes in here. And ginger sort of is a note that's kind of like mint. It has this somewhat spicy but somewhat cooling. I know that seems like an oxymoron, but a spicy cooling effect on the fragrance itself. But it really is elevated with that black pepper and then some of those woody undertones. But it's not like a pungent woody or anything like that. It just is a great marriage of notes that is very, very good for springtime. I find this to be a really good fragrance to have for right after you're coming out of wintertime into springtime and then getting into those warmer summer months. Now, the downside to this one, I'll be honest with you, is the performance to price ratio. This is about a $200 or a $225 bottle of fragrance that lasts about 4.5 to 6 hours depending on the heat. That's not very much performance for such an expensive bottle. Also, it does not project as much as I would like. I literally, when I spray this on, I spray it 8 times on my skin, which is a tremendous amount for any fragrance, but especially a niche fragrance. With that being said, it smells wonderful. It smells absolutely fantastic. And it's incredibly unisex as well. My wife really enjoys this one. She doesn't wear it all that much, but she would not hesitate to reach for it if she needed to. And I think if you're a lady watching this one, I think this is should be a consideration as well. If you go on twistedlily.com and use my coupon code RAFscents10, you'll get a 10% discount site-wide, as well as you can apply that to fragrance samples on the website. And I believe you can get some Wilgermain samples as well. So it may be worth sampling before you actually buy a full bottle of it. Okay. Fragrance number 6. This is a fragrance that actually got me turned on to gourmands. If you guys don't already know, gourmands are fragrances that are sweet and kind of smell like an edible dessert. And I was really, really turned on to this one after I saw my friend Omar from School of Scents recommend this. And I found it at a pretty reasonable price at about $55. So I got it from the house of Valentino. This is Valentino Uomo, the original. There is a Valentino Uomo Intense, which I have smelled once. It does smell really good. But at the end of the day, I love the original Uomo. And I get a lot of people talking to me about asking me if I've tried Coral Fantasy or the Born in Roma or the yellow one. To be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of the Valentino male fragrances overall. But this one right here is absolutely stellar. It's kind of this, it's a chocolate-based fragrance. It's this kind of light and airy. It's not a deep and rich chocolate like you would think, like, you know, how milk chocolate could sometimes be overwhelming when you eat a chocolate chip cookie. It's not going to sit heavy or anything like that. It's kind of lightened with, I think, some notes of almond in there as well. But it is definitely a sweet and romantic fragrance. The downside to this one is is the performance, okay? Once again, the performance on this, just like on the Wilgermain, is about 5 to 6 hours. But unlike the Wilgermain, you're not paying quite as much for this one. And my wife, once again, really enjoys this because it is definitely a romantic date night fragrance. It's going to struggle a little bit in the heat, but will definitely shine once the fall and wintertime start coming around. I see this more also as a special occasion type date night fragrance. If you're just dating a young lady or a gentleman casually and it's not super serious, you're still kind of getting to know each other, I don't think I would pull this one out. But, my wife and I, we're going on 17 years of marriage. And this is definitely one that I still love to turn her head. I still love to be spontaneous. And so when I think about, how can I just reignite that, that new love spark, the one that's just going to really kind of create that initial excitement that we had, and we still do have it. This one does it, okay? It's like right after you know that you love each other and you've been together for a number of months and you're saying I love you and you're starting to make future plans maybe, that's where I really turn to this one, and that's where I think it could help you out as well. So finally, on this list, we have a fragrance that used to be a budget-friendly fragrance, but then guys like me came around, we started talking about it way too much, the popularity soared, and now it's about $60, something like that, but still worth it. Still worth the freaking price. It is from the house of Mercedes-Benz. It is Mercedes-Benz Club Black. And yes, mine does say tester down here. If you happen to find a tester of it, do not fret because testers are completely safe. And I'll do a video one day on tester fragrances. That's a really good idea. But this one right here, another, I don't know, I've got so many romantic scents, but this is another great romantic scent that is fall and wintertime appropriate. Its main note is vanilla, but it's also got a little bit of benzoin in there. I think there's also technically some cinnamon and some spicy notes, but they are very, very, very tamed, almost not noticeable. It's all about the vanilla, and it's all about the benzoin. And benzoin is a note. It's kind of a resinous, I don't want to say tree sap, but it does have some slight minuscule woody undertones in it as well. But it is definitely a sweet fragrance. And I'm telling you what, this right here, guys, is magical. I have a friend, Grant, that lives up in North Carolina, and we've known each other for a number of years. But when I started getting into fragrance reviews and everything, he saw that I was into it, and I started talking to him about some fragrances. So the first one that he ever bought from me was that one right there, Perry Ellis 360 Red. When I told him that it smelled like Acqua di Gio, he was like, I don't believe you, but it's $17. What could it hurt? He went and bought it, and he was convinced. So when I told him about this one, he went and tried this out and loved it so much that he immediately turned around and bought 2 backup bottles of this. I was tickled pink when he told me that story. So, guys, I'm telling you, man, this, I'm going to go ahead and waste a couple sprays. Oh, man. There's even like a pipe tobacco type feel to it. Now that I'm sitting here smelling it on my skin, it is just so freaking good. The performance, it lasts, okay? It lasts 8 hours. It is a little bit of a heavier fragrance, so it's not going to do well in the heat, but I'm telling you guys, for the price, I would pay upwards of $100 for this fragrance. That's how good I think this one is. And for those of you guys that know about Parfums de Marly, not Carlisle, but Parfums de Marly Herod, you're going to really like this one if you like Herod. I think this is borderline niche quality. But that's my opinion. I'm just saying if you find it for $60, $70, I definitely think it's worth picking up. But for me, man, it is just, it's so freaking good. I've influenced a lot of people to purchase this one to great success, and I think you guys would enjoy it too. So there we are, my friends, 7 fragrances and how they have kind of had an effect on me. I hope it all makes sense. I hope I didn't go off on too many tangents there, but at the end of the day, I really do try to bring you guys information about fragrances in an influential way, because that's how I want to be influenced. I want to hear from other people what these fragrances have done for them. That's why I have a rule for myself, which is do not talk about fragrances on your channel that you do not own. I know that some people, some other influencers do that, and that's okay. But for myself, I want to make sure I've had a chance to wear it. I want to make sure I've had a chance to experience it in a couple of different scenarios on a couple of different occasions. I want to try to gauge reactions from them so that I can tell you what has happened to me with these various fragrances. I hope that all makes sense. In the meantime, though, I hope you guys know how much I love you. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, all of that good mess, and we will see you next time.